Are you tired of feeling run down and exhausted? In our fast-paced world, we're often surrounded by toxins that impact our well-being. I provide holistic solutions designed to detoxify your body and environment. With cutting-edge AO voice scan technology, we identify the root causes of your discomfort or dis-ease, making personalized healing easier than ever. Start your transformative journey towards a healthier, toxin-free life, because at White Sands Self-Care, your well-being is our priority.
Hi, I'm Swami Tirtha, and I help families and entrepreneurs reset their wellness for calm, energized career and family life. For the past 50 years, I've offered root cause, personal attention, and evidence-based healing. My colleague, Dr. Pat, MD, and I offer ancient and modern science-based consultations, and we train healers and nurses in courses and CEUs for their careers. Check us out, orangecowboy.com.
Well, welcome everybody to another Mindful Monday. Now, if you are a healer, nurse, or medical professional that are looking to blend ancient wisdom with modern practice, or someone who would just like to turn back the clock on age, stress, and burnout, you are in the right place. Because today we have our go-to wellness guru, Swami Tirtha. Swami is all about those age reversal vibes, helping you turn back the clock on stress, fatigue, and burnout for that radiant glow that we all crave. From Broadway stars to everyday families, he's been the behind-the-scenes hero since the 90s, pioneering Ayurveda in the U.S. and with his wellness center, his herb company, and certification school. So welcome, Swami. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. Laura, it's great to be here.
Absolutely. So before we dive in on your plans for the new year and the future, two questions. One, where did the Orange Cowboy come from, and why the name Orange Cowboy?
That's a great question, and the short answer is the people have spoken. The long answer is orange is the color of joy for me, and I've been collecting. It's been attracted to me, and I've been wearing it. And when I was out in a place called Lilydale, New York, which is a mediumship camp in America, I spent the summer there, and I wore my orange, and I had an orange cowboy hat. And one day my teacher came up to me and said, "You know, everybody here is asking me who's that orange cowboy," and they're laughing. They're so happy. And I said, "Ding, light bulb moment. I know my brand. I am my brand, and they love it. So they laugh even before I get to say hello." So
Nice. Oh, that's very true. Because I've always told people, a lot of people don't realize that that colors have vibration and frequency, and they make a huge difference and an impact on your emotions and how you feel. So obviously doing your work, you're in tune to that. But can you tell us how your journey got started in Ayurveda?
Sure. Well, the journey in Ayurveda got started when I was about 6 years old, believe it or not. In mid 60s, when there was no spiritual holistic support in this country, there was zero yoga studios. Nobody talked about this. I was 6 years old, roughly, and I started to get dreams at night, recurring dreams that I'd be separated from my parents, and other parents would become my parents over and over and over. And it wasn't a great dream, obviously.
Right.
And for over the next 10 years, as it recurred, as the years changed, as we got into the Vietnam War, the dreams changed. And in the dream, I was a veteran coming home from the war, and my parents left and moved and didn't tell me where they were. So it was the same dream. And it got crazier than that in real life. I just started telling my parents, like, my whole vision went blank, and I started crying. I said, "I don't want you to die." I don't know where that came from, but they freaked out. But about within a year, they were in a car accident and they passed. They
Wow.
died. And at some point, I started to remember all those dreams, and I said, "That's not possible." I mean, this kind of stuff, we talk about it all the time now, but back then it was impossible that someone could talk to you in your dreams, predict your future. but it happened, right?
Right.
So I, I was hungry to learn. Somebody knows about this. Who? And I went to a lecture on meditation, and I watched Star Trek, and it was all everything I wanted to know: ESP and time travel, and I it was like and I just made a 180 degree from media college to meditation college. Became a meditation teacher, and I did that for 10 years, and then I found Ayurveda, which is the next step because the meditation was from India, and then the Ayurveda was from India. So it was a natural progression that. Oh, and it was another miracle. I had the flu. I was living in New York City. Every winter, everybody gets the flu.
Yeah.
I would go to the health food store every winter and try something to help with the flu. It never helped. But this one year, somebody said, here's some Ayurvedic herbs, some powder, mix it with your water, drink it. As soon as I drank it, Laura, it was gone. The flu it was an imbalance in me, and I was balanced. And I said, holy cow. And I jumped into Ayurveda with both feet. And I did that. I opened a school. I wrote this Ayurveda Encyclopedia, which became a #1 bestseller. And from that led to presenting to the White House Alternative Medicine Commission and John Hopkins University. So it was a very exciting time. And I got in just before Chopra went on Oprah, and the world heard about Ayurveda. So ground floor. And it's coming full circle now, 35 some odd years later. I've teamed up with a medical doctor. We're doing east-west consultations. If somebody says, look, I don't want to, I want to see something besides just medicine because I'm getting side effects, but I
Hmm.
want a doctor to talk to me. Okay, Dr. Pat steps in. Now, then I'll talk about the holistic. Dr. Pat will put a stamp on it. Um, and then the most exciting thing is the two of us are collaborating. It's like a three-way, like a triangle, a pyramid, with Acoma University, and they're internationally accredited energy medicine school, and they have tons of nurses and medical professionals wanting to learn alternative medicine. So we're
Wow.
starting a course on the chakras. How do you get calm? How do you get energized? Just by a few simple things: breathing exercises, movement exercises, guided meditations. You could do it at work. Nobody sees you breathing at work, but you could. I call it
No,
art.
it's like you can be on the Zoom and you can like be doing those
That's
deep
it.
breathing, and no one would know the difference, but you do.
Yeah, and you could have these mudras. The hand like this is for stress, anxiety. You could just have your hands down here and calm yourself down. And practical. It's practical spirituality, I suppose you
But
could
see,
call
that makes me think now because I've seen people do that, but I had no idea that there was something to that. I just thought that was just the way they were comfortable. But
Yeah, try it out because it's yeah. You don't have to be anxious. It sets. I like see that space in the middle there.
hmm, yeah.
It kind of creates, if you just be aware of your energies, your auras, like you've just created a pyramid around you, and you're expanding your space as opposed to contracting it. You are
Right.
in control of your life.
I am. I have learned that. So it's interesting because I mean, like what you said a while ago that you were out before the whole world knew, but I come across people all the time that has never heard of Ayurveda. They're not sure what chakras are. I mean,
Yes, yes, yes.
it's out there, but it's like it seems like it's not out there because there's so many people that just I don't know, either they don't know what it is or they don't believe in it. They don't know what to make of it. Um,
Well, that's
yeah.
the brilliance of the blessing that I have with the medical doctor teamed up with me and a university full of nurses and health practitioners. And we're setting up courses for research. People can go to get master's degrees through the university and do research to prove or disprove any of these things. But even before that, Laura, compared to when I started, you could go on the NIH government website, the PubMed, and you could type in pranayama, which is a breathing exercise. There's research how it works. You could type in somatic movement. There's research on that, how that does work. You know, you could type in guided meditation. You could type in chakras. They'll even I found a study on chakras. So even though you may not have heard it, or even more not believe it, it's the science is backing it up now. And that's what makes this time so special in the world. Science is saying we can prove it.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you have that because I think that gap needs to be bridged, right, between the Western and the Eastern, that there doesn't need to be a struggle and a fight. You get so many people that like, just stand their ground and, oh, no, you can't do that. And the other one's just like, no, because sometimes I think people need kind of a combination.
You do, sure, especially when you're starting out, because Western medicine is a stopgap emergencies. You know, if you have a your appendix are about to burst, don't take a herb. Pick up the phone, call your doctor, get to the hospital. You know,
Yeah, it's funny. You kind of always have to put that disclaimer in there. It's like, we're not telling you not to go to your doctor. We're just telling you there are other options. Obviously, yes, sometimes that's needed, but to stay on those things is not
yeah,
necessarily needed.
and you bring up a very important point. I'm not here to, or in my practice, I don't tell people, I don't treat, diagnose, prescribe, cure. That's for medicine. I don't do that. I educate people. I entertain a little bit on the way. You know?
I don't know
And
how the orange cowboy could not entertain somebody. I can tell you that right now.
there you go. Thank you.
I love that picture too. It's like, woo, bright orange. It's like, yeah, you just kind of think happiness, sun, when you
It's
see that.
yeah. You know, I've
Yeah.
had people stop me on the street and say, "Thank you for bringing a little color into my life today." And
Yeah.
at the airports, they stop me. All the workers at the airports have always, kind of, not all the workers, but whenever I'm in the airport, somebody who works there stops me and says, "Hey, thank you."
That's always nice too when you start to get recognized.
It's nice, and you brighten people's day doing nothing. You know how cool is that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what are some simple Ayurvedic practices that everyone can incorporate in their daily routine, especially
Yeah.
for a fresh start? We're in a new year. We got a fresh start to the year.
Okay, so let's start with because it's personal, like you talked about with the AR scan. This is personal, and there's air people, there's fire people, and there's water people. Okay, and there are mixtures, but real simple. We look instead of looking at calories, at vitamins, we look at too much air, fire, and water. So, like when I said I had the flu, I had too much water, but I had warming fire herbs and drying herbs that you see how fast they can react when it's at a relatively early stage, and it balanced out that excess water, and I just felt myself like that. So the first step is to figure out if you're air, fire, and water, and I do have a free discovery session. You can join me, and we'll go through that test for you. But very simply, air people are generally thin. They could be short or tall, but they're more to the bony side. And mentally, so they may have dry skin, okay, because it's excess air. They may have gas because it's excess air. In the mind, they may be more scattered, more ADD kind of a thing. Fire people are more like your middle people, your athletes, muscular. They tend to, in excess, well, they're when they're balanced, they're warm, they're good leaders. But if there's too much heat, they can be hot tempered. They could have heat rashes, ulcers, acidity. You see how simple it is.
Mm-hmm.
You could self-analyze yourself very easily. And the water people, they tend to have excess water or earth, so that could be water retention, lung issues, um, and water. You try to walk through water, it's very slow, it's very difficult. So water people emotionally tend to be couch potatoes, and you need a light of fire under them to get them moving.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I was almost gonna say guess which kind of way. Yeah, but I'm like, okay, parts. It's like parts of certain ones would fit for me, but not quite. I have always been drawn to water, obviously, and
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
like the blue, but I'm not necessarily not necessarily couch. I'm not tied to being a couch potato. I can have
Right.
those
So you
moments, but
you could be a fire water person. The fact that you run your own business tells me you have to have fire in you, at least mental fire. Absolutely, yeah.
no. Yeah,
See
and
that
even
you're self-analyzing yourself. You figured it out.
Yeah, that's good points though. I didn't even never even thought to even look at it that way. How
Yeah,
would you I know how I normally explain to people what the chakras are. How do you explain to people what chakras are?
well, I've just had that conversation with Dr. Pat. Um, I heard somebody say you think of the body as an electrical system, right? Because all the nerves, all of the meridians in Chinese medicine. Well, the chakras are energy centers. They're circuit breakers.
Yeah,
Just
that's how I yeah. Okay.
okay. Maybe I heard
Mhm.
it from you.
Yeah. I think it was, but go ahead. Yeah, yeah, that's what I explain to people is like the circuit breakers and the wires, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I the other way I used to talk about it is like it's that we have highways in the body, energy, the different roadways. And if there's a block up, if there's a bumper to bumper, because everybody's looking at the accident there, that highway slows down. And so you got to get to command central, like every big city has a giant screen and they look at all the traffic patterns and change the lights, turn the lights green to keep them going because there's too many people. So it's like command central. You got command central. So like like the root chakra, which is our first course, our first class, that's all about security, survival mode. We got to survive. And if we're stuck in survival mode, fight mode, then we get all kinds of tension, stress, oxidative stress, anxiety. Um, and then so what do you do? Well, you could breathe. I mean, there's a million things you can do. There's colors, there's mantras, there's life purpose, there's everything, anything to calm you down and keep and get you moving again because you're sort of locked. We're sitting on our first chakra, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Whenever you say the first chakra, I just always used to think it was the head, because I think top down, but apparently it's bottom up.
yeah, yeah. I think it's because we're coming from the earth. Mother Earth is there supporting us, and we want to be rooted into the earth. And like one really good visualization for people who are not grounded is picture you coming out at the bottom of your feet, roots going down into the earth to the core of the center of the earth, and see like a silver axle, and just wrap the roots around that. And then you won't go flighty. You'll just feel yourself connected. So that's somebody who's doesn't have enough grounding, enough strength in the roots. Those who are blocked, they need to get up and go, let go of things, lighten up.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been told before to ground to either go out and stand in the grass with my bare feet or
Yes.
go hug a tree.
Oh, wonderful! And talk to the tree. Ask it for some wisdom. They've been
Yeah.
around a while.
Yeah, so talking would be better. I was like, told people, I was like, we have ticks out here. I have, I have no desire to pick up the ticks off them. Otherwise, I'd have no problem with that.
Yes, yes.
But so you've had a lot of experience and a lot of, I'm sure, different interactions around this. What would you say are the most common misconceptions that people have about Ayurveda, and how can we dispel them?
Good. Okay, that's a great question. Let's see. So, common misconceptions. I think it's that it's a real science. I think that's the biggest thing. They go because we've been brought up in this country to look down on ancient cultures, and the reality is the Chinese system, the Indian system, uh, they're brilliant in Ayurveda. They knew they have 6 stages of disease development. Okay, if you have an intuition something's off, that's the first stage. If you go to the doctor in any of the first 4 stages, and they'll run all the tests, they'll say, "Oh, it's in your mind." They'll
Mhm.
only in the sixth and the seventh stage, when it manifests fully, can they say, "Oh, yeah, you do have a disease." So don't doubt yourself. That's one of the best things about Ayurveda. And with your AO scan, for example, you could show that. You could say, "This is exactly." We do it with the pulse. We take a pulse,
Right.
and then once we know the dosha, we know the root cause. And I'm not sure how you get the root cause, maybe from frequency, but from Ayurveda, we know that if you say to me, "I have heartburn," I know pretty much you're a fire person. Of course, I'll look at the test. I'll ask you what your foods are. I'll give you an example. I had a gentleman come to see me once. He says, I have really terrible heartburn. So I knew he's fire. So where do I go? I look at the lifestyle. I say, tell me, what do you eat? Hot foods? He goes, no, I'm not so hot. But so I said, well, tell me, when do you eat? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? He goes, well, I hardly get to eat lunch because I have to drive one person to the airport and then go back and pick up another person. So I thought about it and tap into my intuition and say, well, and practical intuition. I say, could you pull off the side of the road for 5 minutes and eat your sandwich? He goes, I could do that because I have to get them something that they can do.
Right.
And he came back a week later. He goes, no more heartburn. It's so simple when it's in the first four stages. When it gets to those higher stages, we could help. We have people with diabetes in 3 days, their sugar levels have come down. Osteoarthritis, within 3 days, the pain has diminished or gone away. Um, but the sooner you look into it, the sooner you can get rid of it. And Laura, you'd take it a step further. If you set up your strategy, if you set up your life to eat the foods that balance you and do the lifestyles that balance you, now you're in prevention mode. And let's add one more layer to this pyramid. Let's take some herbs and foods that are rejuvenative, that reverse your aging process. Now you're
Yeah.
golden. Now you're
Oh, yeah.
golden.
And I always believe in, prevention or getting it ahead of time. And I think that's part of the key, that you mentioned is, for one, is listening. You got to slow down long enough to listen to your body, and not wait. Because unfortunately, people get so caught up in one rat race or another that it's not until stage 5 and 6 hit. And it's like, oh, I have a problem. Because before, if something creaked, it's, oh, I'm getting older. Or we always seem to have like an excuse for it, instead of saying, nope, this isn't right. It doesn't need to be this way.
Right.
Right.
Now, you brought up an amazing good point. We have belief systems in our country that when you get older, oh yeah, that's my aging making me forget things. No, then we just start to accept that. Don't accept those things because the science is proving it's not true. Genetics. My mother had it. My grandmother had it. 10 to 20% of our outcomes are determined by genetics. That's it.
Yeah.
If you asked me before something that everybody could do with Ayurveda. This is even pre-Ayurveda. When you go shopping, shop around the outside of the supermarket, the outside walls. That's all the fresh foods, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh meats and fish, cheeses. Stay away from the packaged, um, all this stuff with chemicals and stuff, processed foods, and you're ahead of the game. Okay, second step, or first step, change out your white sugar for whole cane sugar or honey. Okay, and change out your white bread for whole wheat bread or rye bread or any of those kind. Because the white bread, the white sugar, the white salt, it's white because they took out all the nutrition. And there's studies show that when you have white sugar, it's worse than cocaine. It shoots up into your brain, boo, and it really does a number. So you could, if you you try to have some nuts with your sugar because that slows down the process. But swap the whites out for the whole grains.
And then I know some people take it even farther because of the way we've modified things, so much that some people would say like sourdough is the better if you're going to get them because of the way they're processed.
Absolutely.
But
Yes.
yeah,
Because
but
there's
I
no
mean, you can
yeast.
keep going. Nothing is ever going to be perfect because of, everybody wants everything yesterday. So we keep figuring out how to do things. But
It's a good point. And Laura, I look at uh, the karate or the martial arts. They have different levels. You start with a white belt, then you go to say a yellow belt, and then a green belt, and then an orange belt. So you get supported every time you make incremental changes. So all I want to do is give you an easy win. So the first thing is switch out a white sugar for a whole sugar. Switch out white bread for whole wheat bread. You will feel the difference in days. This is not about being perfect. This is about taking a step is about and feeling a difference. And when you have a win, you feel good. And you go, "Oh, wow, this is what else can I do now?"
Yeah. Oh, and I like that too. Like you said, incremental things, small things can happen, because otherwise it's overwhelming and people never get started with the change. I mean, like when my fiance, when we got told he was a type 2 diabetic and his A1Cs was like 12 point something, we like had to start making all these drastic changes. And he instantly went into, oh, well, now I can't eat anything good or I can't eat anything I like, until I was actually able to make things and, oh, that tastes pretty good. But, the
Yeah,
whole shock to the system was
yeah,
just not
yeah,
pleasant.
yeah. Even, there are people like people who want to. I've talked to a guy once, and he's in AA, and he said, "Do you have anything for us? Our problem is we're trying to do good, but when we detox, when we stop drinking, we have this shock. We detox, and we all the toxins are coming out. We feel horrible." So I gave him some herbs to detoxify the liver because that's where all the toxins land, and so that way they just feel better. So they're not punished for doing something good; they're rewarded for doing something good.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and you mentioned cocaine before too. I was going to say that's something else I've learned too, is that sugar is actually more addictive in this country than any drug
Yes.
that is out there. And actually, manufacturers did that, made because they wanted people to buy their food.
Yeah, and there's studies that prove that. It's not conjecture.
Yeah, no, when I heard that, I was like, wow. And you started thinking, I was like, oh, that's just wrong. It's just wrong. But anyway, but so we're transitioning into the new year. What advice do you have for those who are looking to combat stress and burnout using those principles?
Well, I'd say you want to choose. Well, there's so many levels. Let's see. I think what's coming to me first is like find go to the health food store and go to the aroma section and just smell the different things and see what makes you go, ah. So I'll give you a few hints. Like lavender is a great one to calm down.
Mm.
Chamomile tea, which is not so much the aroma, but the that will calm you down. Um, ylang ylang makes you joyful. So if you're feeling depressed in some way, again, not medical advice here, not telling
No.
you don't go see a psychologist. Um, so I'd say aromas to me, I think work instantly. That it just you smell them. I had a client who was a guidance counselor in the grade schools, and she was telling me that some of the kids would come in so angry. I said, well, take some rose oil and put it on the light bulb. And so when they're there, they'll smell, it'll diffuse into the air. And she goes, they all calm down.
Yeah, see, it's nice. It's something that, yeah, they don't even have. I have the diffusers. I like the essential oils and stuff, and because there's certain ones that, right, that just help you calm or breathe better, sleep better. I mean, there's lots of different things that you can do with that as well.
I say, do what brings you joy. If you love pets, spend more time with your pet. If you love nature, get outside. If you love to socialize, socialize. Um, but take breaks. If you're working all day, every hour, set your phone, get up and breathe. Just do a simple breathing exercise. We can do a breathing exercise if you like. It's very simple. We
Sure.
did one. We did one last night for a group online. That we were doing our first class, and one of the gals says he started off I said, "This is too simple. This couldn't work." And she goes, "There's so much noise out my window. I'm getting irritated." And when I said a certain command, all of a sudden she fell in and she didn't hear the noise anymore. She goes, wow, it was that simple and it worked. You talk about misconceptions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we could just, for everybody, just think about for a moment, what is the biggest challenge in your life? Is it a pain? Is it an emotion? Is it economic? What is causing you the most anger or stress or anxiety? And if you can, just for a second, feel it and rate that number from 1 to 10. So if 10 is unbearable, the pain is just unbearable. Or it's just a 5. It's not great, but I really want to get rid of it. 1 is manageable. Whatever that is, remember that number. And now picture the person you want to be. So if you have a headache, picture you doing something that you could do when you don't have a headache. If you have a pain, picture yourself running on the beach with your dog, whatever. Picture your biggest, best outcome and feel the joy in that moment. Okay. And now you could if you're driving, I don't recommend you do this. Please pull over. I'm going to ask people to close their eyes. If you're operating heavy machinery, this will be on playback somewhere, right? So,
Yes. Oh, absolutely. You can play it. They can play it anytime.
okay. So if you're out and about, uh, just listen, but don't participate. So, okay. So you've got your number, threshold number, and now you are visualizing and feeling the outcome where you want to be. So now close your eyes and take just a nice deep breath in. And when you fill up, just exhale nice and easy. You might already feel stress coming off your shoulders. And inhale again, feeling yourself expanding as the air comes in, cooling, and exhaling. And if anybody has any heart conditions or high blood pressure, don't hold your breath. Okay, this time as we inhale, we are seeing the air a kind of light, like a golden light, white light coming up into our bodies. And as we exhale, feel the air pushing out all that stress that was in there, all the thoughts, all the pains, all the emotions, all the worries. Now, this time, as we inhale that golden white light, direct it towards the area in your body that this issue is. Could be a pain, it could be a nervousness, it could be a thought. Let that air go right up in those areas and cool them and clear them. And exhale them out. Blow out that stuff that doesn't need to be there anymore. Okay, and one more time. Nice, relaxed. Picture your outcome again. Feel that outcome. Smile and inhale. Bring that cool golden air up to where it needs to go. Pushing everything out. Exhaling. It's going out of the body. Okay. So now rub your palms together. Start to come back. Clap your hands 3 times. And stretch a little. If you can get up and stand up for a moment, that's good too, because the mind is still thinking things couldn't have changed that quickly. But if you stand up, if you move a little bit, you can twist a little bit. You say, oh, I feel a little lighter. I feel a little bit calmer. There's a smile on my face. Now go back to your issue and see what it feels like now. If it was a 7, is it a 6 or a 3 or a 1? If it was a 4, is it a 0? So, Laura, what did you have a number? Would you like to share what your number was and what it became?
My number was only about a 4. I stay pretty calm. I stay pretty calm for the most part. So my
Yeah.
number was only a 4. But yeah, you can definitely feel it drop.
Yeah, that's great. And then you've spent more than 17 seconds imagining an outcome, a positive outcome. And neuroscience says when you spend just 17 seconds on a positive outcome, positive feeling, you're transforming yourself inside, mind, body, and soul.
Yes, I have learned that myself over time. When you focus on the positive and let go of everything else, more positive, it attracts more positive. More positive comes in instead of doing the whole spiral down.
Right, right. And if you're doing the spiral down, do the breathing. And you could do this at work, right? Nobody sees
Mhm.
you, like you said, nobody sees that you're breathing.
Nope,
Nobody sees you imagining the best thing. And
nope,
then
they do not.
and you may actually tune everything out for a minute or two. Doesn't take a lot.
Yeah, I think some of
Meditate.
us refer to it as zoning out.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's something I call it meditation on the go, real practical meditation, because you could do it everywhere, anywhere.
Well, and a lot of people think that they can't meditate and or it's difficult. And I will say I was one of those. I started by listening to when I listened to ones it was better. I was
Yeah.
never one to like create one. But then it was brought to my attention that, when you have those times, I mean, how many times have you done stuff where you're like so like deep in thought, you went from work to home or home to work and you don't even remember getting on the road or going. So
Right. Right. It's a great example. That's a great
yeah.
example. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you share maybe a transformative experience that you've witnessed through your work that just truly highlights the power of Ayurvedic healing?
Mm. Okay. So this is, okay. They just keep coming. So I had a gentleman come see me. I'm trying to think what he had. They were giving him some medicine for his depression. And so we put him on all these things, the aromas, the food plan, the life path, life purpose, exercise, yoga kinds of things. And he called me like a day later. He said, I feel all better. I'm going to stop my meds. I say, no, please don't do that without the doctor's advice. So he listened to the doctor and he tapered it off and it went away. Something that serious that he was on for most of his adult life went away very quickly.
Wow. Yeah, it really is incredible. I know the body has the ability to heal and stuff when you have the right guidance, the belief and you listen to it, you know how it goes. But I will say, so maybe you can answer something for me because this is something I have always been curious. I hear about it, it pops up, and I know it has an effect. But how do the cycles of the moon influence our wellness, and why should we pay attention to them as we plan our
Oh,
health journey?
that's a great question. I'm planning a monthly membership group that we celebrate the full moon and the new moon. We see what it's going to do, how it's going to influence us for the next 2 weeks, and then we set our intentions, and then we have a celebration. We have um, sound baths with frequencies, and then we come back 2 weeks later because that's the next half of the cycle, and set it again for the next 2 weeks. So the moon is all about emotions, and it moves very quickly. It moves through a sign in a month, so we can really see things changing for us. And if the moon is in a certain sign in a certain house, it has effects on us. So if we're in um, the house of it's going through the 11th house, which is groups, then you may be more emotional in groups. If your moon is weak or strong, you kind of do the opposite, or you do therapies to help strengthen you to get through that time. Setting your intentions. From the new moon it's new. We're starting. It's a new beginning, and then we do something, and we start it, and then 15 day when we hit the full moon, it's the completion to whatever degree. Then it's time to step back and reflect. So from the full moon to the new moon, it's a reflection time. So it's a natural progression of ups and downs.
Okay.
Does that help? Is that
Yeah, no, that does because I know that it is affects. I know sometimes people is like, oh, they make jokes about it and stuff, but the moon and the where it's at does have effect. It has effect on nature. It has effect on animals, on us ourselves.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I think it also often kind of gets dismissed also because sometimes people like maybe suddenly get overly emotional, have no idea why, but something triggered them.
yeah, yeah.
So
And I've heard people, the doctors say that the emergency room would get filled on a full moon night. All the crazies would come in on a full moon night.
that
That's
is
what.
one of the things you hear a lot about. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's real, and uh, if it's too much for you, that's okay. Focus on what you need to address. It could be foods. It could be just stopping the white sugars and going up. It could be exercising, walking barefoot, um, petting your dog. Really, this stuff. They bring pets into hospice, and these pets go on the bed of the person that's about to die that night, and nobody knows it till the next morning, but the animals know it.
hmm
Horse therapy, equine therapy. People have not only healed emotionally, but I've read a book about a woman who healed her spine. She built a brace, but she kept riding her horse when you'd think you're supposed to be laying in bed. Uh,
yeah.
Horses are another amazing animal that helps us.
I know people and have had guests on that do the equine therapy and stuff, and because the horses vibrate, I think she said like 720. They vibrate at such a high vibration, and there's just yeah that attraction, the relief. It's amazing how that whole thing works. There's a lot of different things out there that are available if people are open to it.
There's a place in Texas. They rescue these mustangs from slaughter, the wild mustangs, and then they bring in veterans who are still in their head living in the war, and they take these two wild people, a horse and a pet, a horse and a vet, and they have to learn to work together that week. And by the end of the week, that horse will listen to this vet, and this vet has trusted somebody,
Hmm.
and they're allowed to take the animal home, the horse home with them if they have the space. That's
Wow.
how powerful equine therapy is.
Yeah, I have my service dog, and anytime, of course, I've been in the hospitals, you can just see people that just, light up and change. Of course, he's allowed to go in the hospitals and stuff. They do have their therapy dogs and stuff that bring him around, but it just, you can just feel the heaviness of everything just kind of lift, and everybody gets a little lighter, a little happier. So it's always a good thing to see.
Yeah.
But so for those balancing a modern lifestyle with ancient wisdom, what key Ayurvedic concepts would they focus on to create harmony in their lives?
Well, let's see that now we're going to like a bigger picture. So what comes to me is a life purpose, a calling, a mission, something that people go, "Well, I don't know what my purpose is," and I didn't know what my purpose was for most of my young life till I found meditation and Ayurveda. And so if you say, "Well, I don't know what my life purpose is, what my calling is," it's something like breathing. Okay, so breathing. Do we have to think about breathing? Do we have to say inhale now?
If you want to breathe properly, probably until you make
Yeah,
it a habit. But yes,
yeah, but even when we're sleeping,
yeah.
for most of us, we're breathing. We don't have to do any extra effort. We don't have to think about it. It's natural. Well, what do you do in your life that's like falling off a log so easy? Maybe it's something that you love so much and your family's saying, enough of that already. But for you, you can't get enough of it. It could be watching cartoons, and then go study cartooning, go study drawing, animation, storytelling. Here's a funny one. A friend of mine, her mother she slept all the time, and her mother used to yell at her. All she wanted to do was sleep. She gets a job at a facility supervising disabled people at overnight. So she gets paid to sleep.
Well, there you go.
So, I said to Dr. Pat last night after the session, I said, when I did the first two healings and then he did the guided meditation at the end, I said to him, when you were doing that, I had nothing to do. I didn't have to think about anything. I just totally zoned out. We get paid helping people. We get to relax helping other people relax. That's my priority. So there you go. Have a career that you love so much that you'd pay to do it, but actually if you give value, you get value. So um, money for money's sake can cause more stress, but when you're serving people, the deeper you serve, the broader, the more people you serve, the more one of the things you get back is validation through economics.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always said is if what you're doing is not lighting you up, then you need to take a look at that. Because, yeah, I'm blown away when I do meet some of the younger generations and stuff, and they actually know where they want to go, their purpose, or what they're meant to do. Where a lot of us didn't figure it out until late 40s, early late 40s, early 50s, or whatever. It's like, okay, I've been doing all this out of expectations or what I
Yeah.
thought I was supposed to be doing, but it wasn't really my purpose or what I was meant to do.
You were one of the pioneers, softening the ground, softening the earth so that the new generations come in with all this support, with all these people here, with all these programs and trainings and their parents now, their second, third, fourth generation of saying, no, do what you want to do what you love to do. because life is hard. It's not that I don't want to give you the impression that you just do this and la di da life. Life is hard, and the only thing you're not going to give up on is you. You know, you breathe. You're not going to stop breathing when life gets hard. You may hold your breath, and that we help you with that. But if you're doing something because it can make money and it gets so hard, you go, oh, enough of this. You get so sick that you have to stop doing something. But if you take care of your health and do what you love, love is coming back to you. Joy is coming back to you. And you have hard days, yeah, but tomorrow's going to be better.
Yeah. Always challenges, but there's always ways to get through them.
Right.
So, so you have two YouTube channels, right? You have the Orange Cowboy. So, what can people expect from the Orange Cowboy YouTube channel?
Joy, joy, joy. I have I don't remember which has which, but one of the channels has 30 some odd days of like 1 minute meditations. So you could just tune in once a day to watch a new one. And they're all simple. They're all stuff you could do 1, 2, 3. Or if you want to, what do they call that? You just sit there and watch them all and be really relaxed.
Binge watch.
You watch meditation. I've never
Yeah.
heard that before, but I guess it could be a thing. So we have that. We have interviews. You're going to be interviewed on that show. I believe that's Orange Cowboy. It may be the other one again. Mission Ignite. So I interview people who are doing great things for the world that are igniting their life, their purpose, and helping other people. So it goes back to the last question we talked about.
I was gonna say, so if you have a third one, then because I only knew about your Grow Young Again and your Orange Cowboy YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's on one of those two. Those two. I think the Grow Young Again is some of the newer things. There's a lot of talk about light therapies, life wave products that help you grow young again. Basically, that's why
Oh
I call
yeah,
it Grow Young Again. And so
it's
there's a lot of
amazing technology.
testimonials there. Yeah, a lot of testimonials there, and and the Orange Cowboy's been around longer, so that has more of the meditation kinds of things there.
So, yeah, we got about 6 minutes left.
Okay.
What are your plans for the new year? What do you see happening?
Okay. So, all right. So, if you're asking me what I see happening, then I could do like a channel for you and just see what message comes in for everybody. I could tell you just off the bat, it's a 1 year. The 2026, 2 is 4 and 6 is 10. 1 and 0 is a 1. So it's a 1 year. 1 year is leadership, actions, new beginnings. So for everybody, that right off the bat is the thing to do. In terms of a message for the year, I can just take a second and see if there's a message that comes through. So I'm getting a lot more peace of mind this year. And people are going to feel their brains melting in a good way. Like just all that crystallized hard stuff is I see it melting away, and it's going to trickle down into the heart. But first, I think people, as I see it, I feel it will their brains will relax more, and then they'll also be as that relaxation comes, they'll be looking out. People will start to look out more and see the beauty in the world. That's what I'm being shown. So as you relax, look out in the world, see the beauty, and they say everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that, myself included, have been like looking forward to this year. I know last year was very challenging for a lot of people.
Yes.
And I've heard other people mention the fact that that was the year of the snake. So they were like shedding and getting rid of
Yes,
all the garbage, but we're coming into the year of the horse.
that's me. I'm a horse.
Ready to go and run.
Yeah, yeah. It's a well, every animal has a friend and an enemy. So if you're like a rat, you want to be careful this year. You don't want to overextend yourself. Um, Rats tend to be very bold, and they have built-in protections. But this year they're going to start to, because the horse will make them feel, oh, I can let my guard down. They were all about survival in a good way. They have to be careful not to like think, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. No. So have your friends or family uh, make sure you're not too far out there. Not, you got to be protected. Lay low. Don't start a business if you're a rat. But for a lot of everybody else, it will be much better. And the friends of the horse, dragons and dogs, sheep, they'll have some great years. The
Yeah,
best.
it's really amazing about how all this stuff has been around for thousands of years, and it has a lot of meaning, and it has a lot of effect to it. It's just a lot of us we didn't grow up learning about about any of it, so it's just kind of, at least for me anyway.
Tell you a story I just discovered. So this guy's talking about his version of numerology and zodiac, and he said that somehow he figured out that when your parent dies, they die in the year of your enemy sign. So if the rat is in next year, in the year of the horse, its enemy, somebody who's a rat, they might find their parent passing. So I did my research, and holy cow, it happened. I'm a horse. My enemy is the rat. In my rat year, I lost my parents. Freaked me out.
Wow.
Just like,
Yeah.
and it pays. If you're doing good, your business is going good, but you get the enemy year coming up, people lose it. People, Bitcoin is supposed to. Bitcoin was created in the year of the rat, so the cryptos are supposed to not do good this year because the rat year brings things down for the horse, or the horse brings things down for the rat.
Good to know. We have 3 minutes left. What do you want to leave everybody with today?
Joy, joy, joy. Really, just set your intentions. What brings you joy, and don't feel guilty about it. You deserve it. You need it. It's like air. It's the finest form, the finest form of air, oxygen, joy, community. Find joy. Find the communities that bring you up, that celebrate your successes, that encourage your life path, and keep watching this series of Mindful Mondays.
And I know you have a class coming up in February, but you're probably going to be doing more and stuff. So, is the best way for people to follow you on LinkedIn to so that they're notified when new ones come up?
Absolutely, yeah. And you could go to the website and yeah, go to Live Forever. Every course will be there as they come up. Absolutely, thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to thank you so much for taking the time and shedding more light on the Ayurveda. And yeah, I love the possibilities and stuff. And I hope that more people are open minded enough to embrace it or reach out and connect with you because you're a wealth of knowledge in that area. So greatly
It's been a
appreciate you.
pleasure, a joy, Laura. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here and share with your community more light.
Thank you. Absolutely. Everybody, with that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Have a beautiful week, and we will see you next time on Mindful Mondays. Bye for now.